Step 1 in decorative painting is applying a base coat to your surface before you begin. This is done with regular latex satin finish wall paint. In order to have great success, watch this next portion of the video on how to choose paint colors. Choosing paint colors is an important part of the faux finish process. In order to have the greatest level of success, choose a color that you want your end result to be in your room. For example, I'm going to choose this level. From there, what we'll do is jump up 2 shades, 1, 2, and we will apply our base coat and satin finish paint in this color. From there, what we'll do is go back to our original color and jump down 2 shades, 1, 2, and this will be the color that we choose to mix our glaze. So our end result will be, this level will be our base color, and this level will be our glaze color. This will allow you to create the level of depth and texture that you desire in your room. Now that you've learned how to choose your paint colors, the first thing you'll need to do is actually apply your base coat to your surface. Don't forget, it's latex satin finish base coat. Once this surface has dried, we'll be using a glaze to continue on with our faux finishing. Watch this next segment on how to mix a glaze. In order to do your faux finish, you will be using a glaze. A glaze is translucent paint that's designed to dry slowly. You achieve a glaze by purchasing 1 gallon of faux glaze liquid. You will also need a quart of regular latex satin finish paint. This can be in any color that you choose. You'll need to combine the gallon of faux glaze with the quart of paint, mix it up, and you've created a glaze. Now that you've applied your satin finish base coat to your wall, allowed it to dry, and mix up your glazes, you're ready for the fun part, and that's the faux finishing with the sponge and rag roller. But before we begin, I'd like to explain the difference between the two. They both work on a roller and create a very subtle, different looking faux finish. The main difference is the actual texture illusion that it creates. The more muted of the two is the sponge roller. That'll give you a very stippled, very understated look. The rag roller, on the other hand, creates the illusion that you would get from folding cotton cloths and applying it to your surface. However, it's a lot faster and a lot easier. For our purposes, what we're going to do is begin with the sponge roller. We begin by applying our glaze to the surface using our roller. I'm going to go ahead and load up my roller with the glaze. Now, the most effective way to do this is working with 2 people. Or, if you're working in a smaller surface area like I am today, 1 person will be sufficient. So I'm applying my glaze to the surface, like so, just loading it up and applying it. I like to go from top to bottom as I'm applying the glaze. It goes very quickly. You don't need to be excessively concerned about an even application. You just pretty much spread it across the surface, like I'm doing. From there, I'm going to take my sponge roller and take it to the surface and begin rolling through the glaze. I'm going to roll back and forth like so, creating the look that I'm after. Like I said, it's a very soft and subtle look. As you can see, it's a lot faster than one might create using a handheld sponge. It's a very sophisticated, very muted look. Now, as you continue down the wall, what you'll want to do is overlap your glaze, like so, as you continue on. You want to move as rapidly as possible so that you don't get any dry lines along the area that you're working. Continue on with the roller and blend it in with the previous blended areas. Now, as you're working along, and rolling through the glaze, you'll begin to get an accumulation of glaze on your roller. From there, what you'll want to do is take your roller over to a paper towel and download some of the excess glaze, just like we are here. And you're ready to continue. I'm going to go ahead and continue rolling over this surface all the way to the end so that you get somewhat of an idea how this works. There, wonderful, professional looking faux finish with the sponge roller. Now we're ready to do our decorative painting using the rag roller. The main difference between the sponge roller and the rag roller is the look that it creates. The application, however, is the same. Now remember, we still have a satin finish base coat on our surface that has been allowed to dry before we begin. Before you begin using the rag roller, you'll want to fluff up and create folds all the way around the rag roller. What I happen to like about this is that you won't need to reposition this halfway through the room. It will stay in position until you're finished painting your room. So with that, we'll go ahead and apply the glaze using the roller. I'm applying my glaze to the surface. Again, I'm not paying much attention to having the application consistent. It's just most important that I do cover the surface using the glaze. Now I'm ready to take the rag roller, and I'm just going to begin rolling through the surface. And it creates very crisp lines, which is different, as I mentioned, than the sponge roller. If you're looking for a traditional, standard, folded look from your rag roller, then you might want to just stop rolling there. If, however, you want it to be more muted, you can roll it more. When you're happy, stop rolling. Keeping in mind that time is of the essence when you are working on your wall using glazes. Apply your next row of glaze, overlapping with the area that you've already glazed. Follow up using the rag roller. Now one thing, again, like the sponge roller, when you do have an accumulation of glaze on the tool, go ahead and download it onto a paper towel and go ahead and continue. From there, I'm just going to begin rolling as I did on the other portion of the wall, blending one area in with the other. This gives a very consistent, even, and professional application on your surface. And because the tools work so fast, you don't really need to be as concerned about drawing overlap lines as you would be with a handheld tool. And that's decorative painting with the sponge roller and the rag roller. Have fun faux finishing with the Woolie line of decorative paint tools.